Now, I think we can all safely agree that there's without a doubt that Kathleen Kennedy by far has really destroyed the sequel trilogy and created so many different problems within the Star Wars franchise, among the Star Wars fandom, really dividing the Star Wars fan base and just creating a very ugly mess for the overall Star Wars brand by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, here we are, it is November 6th of 2020, we are getting closer to 2021 next year, which is where the new universe is really going to start to take shape. We got the Kenobi TV series getting ready to begin filming in March of next year. Also, the Cassian Andor is moving along smoothly, the Cassian Andor series. And we've also got the Ahsoka Tano TV series and others out there that are actually taking shape as well. However, what's really intriguing all has to do with exactly what's been happening behind the scenes between George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni, and of course, specifically Kathleen Kennedy, and how she pretty much has little to no power as we speak and is only working on the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series. Now, keep in mind that when we go ahead and examine what Kathleen Kennedy has done to that Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series, how she broke the regulations that were put in place by George Lucas, and then that led to George intervening and kind of regulating the last batch of episodes, where Kathleen Kennedy is now only supervising the first 10 episodes of that show. However, what's really concerning about what actually went down not so long ago between Kathleen Kennedy and Mark Hamill, this is something that I think a lot of fans really need to actually keep in mind about, because once again, it proves that Kathleen Kennedy does not care about the Skywalkers as characters. Now, specifically out of all of this, with Kathleen Kennedy now stripped of her leadership, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are actively developing their new Star Wars universe in order to reunite the Star Wars fans around the world to create a proper new, evolved Star Wars that will satisfy the fan base throughout the next couple of years. It's explained that as of right now, Kathleen Kennedy has been very angry and frustrated with the Star Wars fandom for not accepting her direction with the Star Wars universe. Now, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy not so long ago fired actor Mark Hamill from a big Star Wars project that was in the early development phase over at Lucasfilm some time ago that was going to involve a live-action version of Luke Skywalker that would take place after the events of Episode 9, where Mark Hamill was set to return as a Force ghost. Now, let me stop right here for a second. Now, in case you guys have been out of the loop, before Kathleen Kennedy lost her creative power, she had dozens upon dozens of Star Wars projects that she was actually initiating, that she personally greenlit, either for Disney Plus or for theatrical releases like movies and, trilogies and stuff around those lines. Kathleen Kennedy was going all out to the point where they had 20 plus years worth of Star Wars material. It was a little overboard. And if I must say, probably more so, way too overboard in my opinion. Now, everything related to Kathleen Kennedy, we've seen this time and time again. Firing people, having creative differences, people actually quitting their jobs on Star Wars because of Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, the train doesn't stop there, right? It's going to continue to actually happen in the future with the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series. We already see, of all people, Brie Larson having a lot of creative differences between herself and Kathleen Kennedy. And that is something that I did not expect to actually, expect to see between those two. So, moving on. Now, it's described that this unnamed project was aimed to be a new Star Wars TV series for Disney Plus that Kathleen Kennedy was in fact developing with the creators over at Lucasfilm in order to develop a new path to Star Wars. Mark Hamill eventually was excited to begin working on the project sometime in 2021 when Kennedy planned to begin filming the series. However, Kennedy eventually had a change in heart and decided to fire Mark Hamill from the project since she wanted nothing to do with Mark Hamill's creative differences for this new project that was going to focus on the events after Episode 9 in live-action form. So let's stop right there for a second, is that obviously Mark Hamill has voiced his opinion with The Last Jedi. He's voiced his opinion also with The Rise of Skywalker. And it seems as so that he did the same exact thing behind the scenes with Kathleen Kennedy about this particular TV series that was going to include him in a very unique way as a Force ghost in live action form, and how he wanted it to actually be done, and Kathleen Kennedy was just not having it, was not buying it. My honest, assumption here is that Mark Hamill wanted more screen time, or wanted to actually make up his own dialogue like how he was promised in episode 9 by JJ before Kathleen Kennedy canceled that as well. So once again, I just feel that Mark Hamill was always mistreated as an actor and as a person by Kathleen Kennedy when it came to these Star Wars movies. Look at The Force Awakens. Granted, I do believe that the ending of that movie was pretty well done. But at the end of the day, Mark Hamill was so excited to begin work on episode 7 and didn't even know of how small of a role that he really had. And that was really all rooted by Kathleen Kennedy as well. Let's not forget that Kennedy's, actions really do date all the way back to 2015 when The Force Awakens launched or released into theaters. So, moving on past this, alright. Now, the main reason why Kennedy fired Mark Hamill from the project is because Hamill wanted to be a more prominent figure in the series than how he was used in The Rise of Skywalker, and was not happy about Kathleen Kennedy and her direction with the series for Disney Plus at the time. Now, it's described that Kennedy felt that Mark Hamill was demanding way too much for the show and decided to give him the exit and fired him from the massive project that was eventually cancelled anyway by the new Disney CEO Bob Chapek, that was replaced with a Rise of Skywalker sequel series that will now be in animated form. So that's at least the good news out of all of this, is that Mark Hamill was associated with a live-action project to come back as Luke Skywalker. He was fired from that by Kathleen Kennedy because of those creative differences and more. And then, in a very strange and unique way, Mark Hamill is getting a similar role and scenario for an animated Star Wars project that is going to be a sequel series to Episode 9, where he too will actually be returning as Luke by voicing the character, by actually providing his facial scans, because this type of animation is going to be very lifelike. So keep that in mind as well, is that this series is going to be pretty much a bridge between live action and animation. It's going to be more like what you see in video game cutscenes and anything around those lines. So looking forward to that. I think that in itself, is going to be the big key starter to the new animated Star Wars projects, is making them lifelike. So, continuing on, it said that Kennedy at no point wanted Luke to be more prominent of a figure than how she wanted him to be written in the show, and that Kennedy felt that it was necessary to get rid of Luke Skywalker altogether eventually for this unknown Star Wars TV series that was going to expand some of the characters seen in Episode 9 that were more minor. Now, the creators at Lucasfilm saw this as a blessing in disguise of the show getting cancelled eventually anyway, since they believed it was not going to do well with the Star Wars fans. Mark Hamill, though, was not happy about Kathleen Kennedy firing him from the project, and believed that this was very low even for her. Mark Hamill is said to now have great interest in playing a major part in the Rise of Skywalker sequel series for Disney Plus that will be created by George Lucas and others to expand the Skywalkers and even others like Rey and Ben Solo in this new Star Wars TV show that is now in development for Disney Plus for the fans to witness around the entire world. So keep in mind, this is a very important thing that a lot of fans need to know, is that regardless of what is happening and what has happened with Kathleen Kennedy, a lot of good things are coming out of Star Wars. Now, Mark Hamill is not completely done with Star Wars. He's working on other projects, like I say, such as that sequel series, The Mandalorian Season 3 on a more minor scale, and other projects out there here and there that are going to be, once again, more minor for Disney Plus. In no way he's going to be, pretty much a big character in his own TV show. We're not getting anything like that per se. But what they are going to be doing is that they're going to keep the Skywalker legacy alive, the Luke Skywalker legacy especially as well. We talked about this not too long ago about Lucasfilm talking with Sebastian Stan and how he's in the hiring process of becoming a new Luke, etc. So yeah, guys, like I've said before in the past, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.